Hello everybody, my name is Bob Mitch and welcome back to some more Star Citizen. This obviously, very obviously, is the Hercules Starlifter. This is the C2 variant and this is the one that I own, and naturally because it's PTU at the minute, this is the first iteration where they put this ship into the game. You can't fly these things unless you own them. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look, and I've had a quick look around so far just to sort of familiarise myself with it, but this thing is pretty meaty. It sounds incredible, even the ramps and everything when they open, the sound design is awesome, the engines sound incredible when it's flying around, but as you can see it looks very, very sleek. In fact, I think besides my 890, I might even like the overall look of this more than the Carrack, even though the Carrack and the 890 are my babies. So, I'm going to have a look around. This thing is huge. It's obviously a loader, so I'm probably going to be using it for more of a cargo ship, because essentially that's what it is. It's a cargo ship more designed for things like vehicles, hence the name Starlifter, and that's very obvious when you open its loading bays. So looking at it from the outside first, we can't see much on the top because obviously we're down below, but just sticking out there you can see some Revenant Gatling guns. There is one either side for self-defense, and the pilot controls those, so you can fire them as the pilot. You have these colossal engines up here and this huge landing gear. You have a unmanned turret sticking out the back, and I believe there is another one at the top on the rear as well for rear defense. This colossal landing gear. But if we go here, you can see that you have several ways in. So you can go in this front loading elevator here. You can go in the rear ramp, which everyone has seen and knows if you know this ship. And then you've got a crew elevator which pops down here. Now I'm not going to use the crew elevator yet, because I want to show you the loading ramps, and I'm going to have to do it quickly. First of all, because the server will probably 30k because people are messing around with the Nova tanks, which I'm also going to have a look at later. But secondly, because my helmet is freezing over. So push this button and just listen to this ramp. You see the entire mass of the ship shift there when the front loading ramp came down. So, run inside. And this takes us into the main deck. So, this deck is all about cargo. There is nothing utilitarian or, useful down here to use or interact with aside from the loading ramps, because at the end of the day, this is where your tanks or other assorted vehicles that you might be transporting have to go. At cargo as well, obviously. So you have the main loading ramp here, which is this massive one at the front, and then if we run to the rear of the ship, you see you have a second loading ramp here, which sounds equally as awesome when you open it. And just like the Mercury, you can lock them if you want to. Don't they sound insane? And here is the rear loading ramp next to these huge engines. So like the Mercury Star Runner, it's got these two sort of big engines, but then it has these assistant engines up top, and there you can see the rear turret for defense to the rear. So let's go back inside. So these huge ramps to allow larger vehicles. Obviously this is intended for the tank, and other large vehicles that may come along. Ballistas as well, although you can obviously at the moment fit ballistas in some of the vehicles. We'll close these again. And unfortunately, they don't sound quite as awesome when you close them. There you go, giant mechanism settling into place. It reminds me very much of things like a C5B or an AN225 Antonov. Okay, So after a server crash and moving around, you can see that I think I might be entering the atmosphere a little bit here because I'm in orbit of Microtech. And you can see we're on the main deck again. So rear door, forward door. You've got two ways to get up into the second deck. So you can use this emergency access ladder here, which has got these neat doors like the Jeffries tubes in Star Trek, which I don't think any other ship has, to sort of isolate the area. Or you've got this big service elevator. So we'll go up to the top deck. The character is leaning, which makes me think I am slightly entering Microtech's atmosphere. I may have gone in at a slightly janky angle, but never mind. So we're on the top level. You can see you have the massive things going back here for the engines. If you go back, you've got these gantries that go across. I hadn't seen those before, so that's quite cool. So that goes back to the engines there. Also looks like fibre optic cabling, and it was pulsing a minute ago. We'll have a look at the bridge first, just in case I have gone into the wrong angle. So this is going towards the front of the ship, rear is back there, as you can see. To get to the bridge, you go along this big neck, so again, more things here to open. And you have more components and things that you can do. So more changeable components. No escape pods, I've noticed. Go into this neck. You have things here. These could be the escape pods, actually. Yeah, these must be the escape pods. So pilot escape pods. I stand corrected. And then you get into the bridge. So you've got a little storage component here. As you can see. And other stations and things that don't really do much at the minute, but they do look really good for the aesthetic. Now remember, this is the civilian variant, not the military one, so there may not be things for guns and things, but I adore the look of this bridge. It looks incredible. So this is the bridge area, looking out. Almost looks Freelancer-like, but it's actually very close to the Mercury Starrunner. As you can see, you've got the chairs that manoeuvre backwards and forwards. One for the pilot, one for the co-pilot. I'll jump in the seat just to show you. I'm not going to do anything because I'm flying decoupled at the moment. So I do have control of it, but she's just flying decoupled. Very Spartan. So there's lots of knobs and things that you can turn and twist. I didn't actually mean to do the quantum drive there. But as for the displays and things, there isn't that much that you can actually do, or see rather. So there's the main shields, and then there's contacts and targets. So you've got a few screens to play with, but it looks quite Spartan. And then lots of the activation and things is up here on all these switches that you have to use. It's kind of annoying how it's dropping me out of the free look. So quantum drive, quantum hood. I do believe if it stops dumping me back into the main view, that you can engage the ESP, so the flight assists, and you can lower the doors and things from here, just like you could on the Starrunner. So this ship has the option to lower the cargo bay doors from inside, which again, a lot of them don't do. So we'll jump back out of here again. And I just adore this space. I adore the bridge space. I love the lighting. The lighting is incredible, like all this in-floor and in-wall lighting. Very reminiscent of the 890 and how Origin have very cleverly squeezed all the lighting into the architecture of the corridors and the walls. So back onto the main area. Upper deck. If we go to the right-hand side of the ship, we have the Habitation area. So this is Habitation, and it's essentially the same as a Mercury Starrunner. You've got some desks for people to use, and then you've got some bunk beds. You only have 2 bunk beds, so it looks like it's just that for the pilot. Doesn't look like there's many for the pilot and the co-pilot, so this is not meant to be a heavily crewed ship. And you have 2 entrances, so you've got one at the front there and then one aft, and these both go into the Habitation. Going backwards, you have your areas for more components to switch out. So these things here, and just like everything else, these are all interactable and opening. So if you want to change components out, you can. or you can have a look and inspect your components and repair them in the future. And then you have this awesome engine effect. Again, reminiscent of the 890 with its big pulsing things for its engines and hammerhead. Going back across the gantry to the left hand side of the ship. Same again to the rear here for the engine. But here you have the recreation area. No chessboard, unfortunately, like the Mercury Star Runner, but you do have a little library, and you have a sort of chill area with a desk, and then you've got a galley that's tucked away nice into these alcoves. All this space is amazingly well used, so there isn't any wasted space on this ship when it comes to the crew areas. So you've got these really cool utilised areas that make use of all the space rather than just leaving it to look cool, like say Origin might do. Everything is utilised. So you've got a screen here as well. You have a fridge. You've got a seating area, more library space, more maybe emergency supplies, and then all the way back through you get back out to the main deck again. Doors being a bit slow because it's the PTU and everyone is spawning everything they can and making it a bit jank. So open one of those. No step. More component space, more cargo space. Not sure what these are for. Storage units. So these are storage units. Ooh, okay. Personal storage. That I didn't know about. That's cool. I didn't know that was a thing. That's actually really fucking cool. So we have a direct interactable storage unit with the ship. Okay. Okay. I'm actually really in love with that. Why isn't this a thing on more of them? Okay, let's see if we can open any more of them. I'm intrigued now. Like I said, I don't tend to run around these ships and do this ad hoc without, you guys watching if I'm recording this to review the ships. Storage unit, personal storage. Okay, so these are all just big storage units. So you have the main cargo downstairs for your tanks and your vehicles, and then you've got personal storage up top in these components near the engines. That's really, really, really cool. Okay, consider me impressed. Radar system. So on this side, it looks like there's more components. So more storage, more storage. Okay, awesome. That I'm really, really pleased by. I don't know why we can't do that on more ships. CIG, please, more. So now we'll go into the bridge and I'll do some flying just to show you guys what this thing sounds like and looks like from the outside. So we'll turn our engine onto cruise, and just as we're coming into the sunlight you can see that this thing looks magnificent. There is Tesla Station behind us, so we're above Microtech, and like I said, I love the design of this thing. It looks so sleek. It looks amazing. So we'll do a quick quantum hop to an OM if I can find one, just to get in some more sunlight. This thing is fairly quick and fairly manoeuvrable. It's a bit sluggish obviously once it's at speed in atmosphere, but it's actually fairly nimble for its size. Little bit of chugging there. So I'm going to turn the engines off, just so we can see the deceleration thrusters, which are these big ones at the front. And then I'm going to put the engines on main thrust, just so you can hear the engine noise especially when I use the afterburner, because it's incredible. There you go. Just like that, acceleration is incredible, and we're at top speed. And the engines sound amazing. So yeah, they are amazing. Now I did have before, the first time I got into here, an ammunition counter up on the top left for the guns. So as I said before, they're a little bit hard to spot. But if we pan in here, you can see them sticking out above the nose there, and if I fire them, there is our self-defense for our revenants. I don't know if this thing carries missiles. I assume it might. One or two. Maybe not this one, because this is the civilian variant. You can see the countermeasures like flares and things sticking out over the top there. But naturally it has the turrets as well. So as I said before, one on the bottom there. These are both unmanned. And then panning around to the back, you can see another one sticking out to the rear here, just for some defences. So it's not indefensible, but it's not meant to be a combat ship, even if it's the large variant that carries huge bombs. So what else can we do with this thing whilst it's flying? We can press K and this will switch it from normal mode to VTOL mode. Even though I'm flying along, it shouldn't make much of a difference. But you can see that the winglets fold down, ready to lower the landing gear. As we're in space, it doesn't matter that much. So I'll bring these back up. And then we can press K again to fold our winglets back in. So, the Hercules Starlifter in a nutshell. Very, very sleek, a bit basic inside, but I adore the fact that we can interact with personal storage, so that you can actually, rather than using gun racks, you can actually store stuff in this ship, rather than having to use your personal inventory. Bit jank at the minute. I'm not going to try it right now because I'm on the PTU servers and these are 30k'ing like every 10 to 15 minutes because people are cartwheeling their Herculeses because they can't fly them properly, or they're learning to fly them, or they're messing about loading tanks in them and the tanks are exploding and making everything crash and bug out. So yes, I'm not going to try that just now. I don't own a tank, so I can't show you that, unfortunately, unless I can get hold of one later on, and I might try and do a video. But yeah, that's the Hercules Starlifter. Very, very impressed with it. Very, very happy. I'm going to love using it as a cargo ship because it's very nimble. It's quite durable from what I can see. It can take a fair few punches. And I love the design of this thing. I love the Crusader design philosophy. All the lighting, and it has the kind of bridge that I think the Freelancer should have had, because the Freelancer loses a lot of viewing angles, whereas this thing looks amazing. So let me know what you guys think. Are you ready to fly your own Starlifters and have some fun with them and do some good cargo lifting and throw tanks around? I've seen people messing about with the tanks in these things, and I think you can fit 2 inside each one. And obviously the military variant is black and has different weapons and a different loadout, and probably stronger shields as well, and not much of a stronger quantum drive because it uses fuel quicker. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Crusader, Hercules, Starlifter, civilian variant. If I can get hold of the other variants, I will do a quick update. If I can get hold of a tank, I'll do one of that as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.